Jesus become the high priest. So when you talk about priesthood, the priesthood should be on with the Levi tribes, and the high priest lineage should come out of Aaron. Whereas Jesus is becoming the high priest. If we read Hebrews chapter 7, it talks about the new priesthood and how the new order is coming. If you see in chapter 7, Hebrews chapter 7, verse 11, therefore, if perfection were through the Levitical priesthood, for under it the people received from the law, what further need was there an another priest should arise according to the order of Melchizedek and not be called according to the order of Aaron? For priesthood being changed, of necessity there is also change of the law. For he of whom these things are spoken belongs to another tribe, from which no man has officiated at the altar. For it is evident that our Lord arose from Judah, of which tribe Moses spoke nothing concerning priesthood. And it is yet far from evident if in the likeness of Melchizedek there arises another priest who has come not according to the law of fleshly commandment, but according to the power of an endless life. For he testifies, you are a priest forever according to the order of Melchizedek, which is from Psalm 110 verse 5. So what here he says is, the Levitical priesthood, the Aaronic priesthood was given through Moses as a law so that people will abide by it, and through which a perfection can be attained of the sacrifices and satisfying the God's wrath. But this did not happen. So God, what he says is, he goes to the another priest which came in the order of Melchizedek. Melchizedek you see only in Genesis chapter 14 and 14, you will see. When Abraham goes and then he brings the captives of Sodom and his cousin Lot, and then there he met by Melchizedek, and then the Melchizedek he offers tithe. Melchizedek offers bread and wine. So then Melchizedek was spoken of by prophetically in David by Psalms, in 110 Psalm verse 5. There will be a priesthood coming. That priesthood come in the order of Melchizedek, not in the order of this one. So God goes back to the order of Melchizedek. So Melchizedek order, there is a new priesthood is coming. The new priesthood is Jesus Christ. That's how the new priesthood is there. And there you see the priesthood, the high priest, they all die. But here, this priest lives forever. That's what Hebrews chapter 7 verse 25 says. He lives forever and he is able to save all those who come to him. So he is become the high priest forever, for eternity, and he becomes the high priest. And then the difference between the other high priest and this high priest, Jesus, how the other priesthood, how they offer the sacrifice, they have to offer the sacrifice for their own sin, and then they have to give the other person's sin. So Hebrews chapter 9 and 10 talks about offerings of the high priest. There the high priest, they needed an offering for their sin, whereas Jesus, the new priesthood, which was not spoken in the Levitical law, in the Moses law, he supersedes, he does beyond Moses, beyond Levitical law, beyond Aaronical law. Beyond that, he goes back to all the way to Melchizedek, and then he puts him, this high priest, he has no sin. He doesn't have to offer any sacrifice. And then Hebrews chapter 10 verse 12, he says, by one offering he perfected for those who are being sanctified. So he has paid an offering not for his sins, but for the sins of the people. So this is the new priesthood, a new law, new order, everything new covenant. So if you study the book of Hebrew, chapter 7 talks about the new priesthood order. Chapter 8 talks about the new covenant. Chapter 9 and 10 talks about the new priesthood, how the priest offering and how this new offering. And then 11 talks about the faith and 12 talks about how you are to live your life. So the new priesthood is Jesus Christ in the order of Melchizedek, much before the Levitical law was issued by Moses. That's how he has become the high priest forever.